What up, Atomic World? It's your boy Ace Boogie.
And Keisha Bernice.
Yo, we got a special guest in the building today. Sir, please introduce yourself.
My name is Joshua Humble. I'm a financial advisor with New York Life, and I'm here to represent and give y'all the literacy that y'all lack.
That's what I'm talking about. So you have an interesting story, sir. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
Right.
So let's start at the beginning. Let's talk to us about this.
Well, I can start at the beginning. Like, I didn't think that I would be a single dad to a little girl right now, but I am, and it just happened to be that way. I'm 37 years old. I have a 14-year-old daughter. I've had full custody of her for the last 9 years, going on 10. I've been in a few relationships in between that time, and I had made some bad decisions, putting her in situations she didn't have nothing to be in. But
I want to hear about how did that happen? How did you get getting full custody of your daughter or your child is not very it's not known for men to get full custody.
Exactly.
What happened in that scenario?
My brother was actually going through another situation with his baby's mom. We actually had the same lawyer. We got full custody of our kids at the same time.
Damn, that's dope. But
it was different. It wasn't playing out to be my baby's mom, my baby's mother, like use a better term. She didn't have her ducks in a row, if that makes sense. And I kind of like cut her off guard, cause like in the state of Texas, it's hard to get a kid from the mother.
Hell yes.
So I just kind of made it work. My ex at the time, she kind of was like, you need to get your daughter, cause she was coming back. She was 5 years old. I used to get every summer. She was 5 years old one year. And she was just talking about things that no kid at 5 years old should be talking about. And then me and her mother's mom, which is my daughter's grandmother, we were never on good terms because my baby's mom always kind of made me out to be that.
Like the bad guy.
Right. So, I was always arguing with them. And then even she agreed with that same year that, hey, you need to get her because of the guys that my baby's mother was having around my daughter. Mm-hmm. So that was really what pushed the issue. And that's been a grip, though.
I bet.
But, it was
worth it.
It was worth it, definitely.
You have a daughter. That's the most important thing.
And when you talking about when it came to relationships and you made mistakes, what did you mean?
Choice of women, going off the look as opposed to the internal. You know what I mean? Like the physical is more. I was more attracted to the physical than actually what she could bring to my daughter, because I was thinking about myself first before I actually started thinking about my daughter. So, and they were toxic relationships, and me and my daughter's relationship wasn't that close. And I tell that to any parent at this point: if you have if you're getting into a relationship, make sure your relationship with your kids are 100 before you jump into another relationship, because you don't want a kid to be in a situation they feel like you're choosing. And I feel like that's what I came home and, if they weren't, I'm acting like I can't go over here, I can't go over there. And it's like, I love them both. But, my daughter always comes first, and I had to learn that. Right. So
I want to know about the situation that happened that made you realize that.
Oh, man.
It's like, damn.
Right. Man, honestly,
we dig deep in here, okay?
Nah, I see. And excuse me if anybody's watching this who knows my ex, but it was my last relationship, and I don't speak down on her or anything like that. We just were on different paths. It really did, the fighting, the things that I said to my daughter at one point, I had no business saying. Like, I almost lost my relationship with my daughter in my last relationship. Like, she didn't want to.
For your girl, like your girlfriend, like, it was situations where she was putting you in to choose, or it was like.
It just wasn't a healthy relationship. I don't want to get like detail, just because the fact that people may know people that may
and
know
older her. And your daughter's older and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it was more so the picking and choosing when you do your confrontations or whatever, like being adult and being able to like not have the kids involved, or so they can see what's going on, because that can damage a kid. And just like I was really not really confrontational, but she was. And and it's kind of like I just drug my daughter within it, and I stuck around. It was more of a lust and love, and I didn't realize that until after we broke up.
How long were y'all together?
It was about over a year and a half, give or take, or whatnot. But she had kids of her own, and those blended families, they can be difficult if you don't go into it with the right mindset. Because when you meet a woman, I would never met a woman or ever dealt with a woman who actually had kids. I always said I want to start over fresh no matter what. And I knew that was not possible at my age.
When you have a kid too.
Right, exactly. So, and I'm not down in it, but I gave this one a chance because of the fact I knew it had to happen so I can understand that I do need to be with a woman who has a kid, just because of the fact that they understand. You can't teach a woman who doesn't have a kid the understanding of how to be a parent, you know, because they'll never understand like when some things have to be done, but they don't realize that, you know, you're not being selfish. You just gotta, hey, this is my kid, like this is my responsibility.
But some people that don't have kids do understand, like, so I've learned that, like, I have 3 kids, so
Right.
there's not a lot of men that look at me and be like, damn, I want to be with that bitch. She got 3 kids. I want to take care of them, you know?
Right.
So there is men out there that don't have kids that understand when you do have kids, and there's women as well, but it is very hard. Some people that actually have kids are very selfish and only think of their kids instead of extending the handout and bringing your kid, like you say, blending the family. So it's always a hit or miss, but you always have to date, speak about you. I always talk about my kids. If you hear me with any, as soon as you meet me, I'm like, I got 3 kids.
Right.
I let it be known off the rip because I'm gonna see the way you act, your facial expressions and all that.
Yeah.
That way I know what you gonna do and how you gonna react, so that I can know if it's gonna be anything at all.
Right.
That's people. You gotta be more selective. You gotta.
How did you prepare yourself to get your daughter full time? I know
wasn't.
you probably
You
wasn't
don't.
ready.
Yeah, I wasn't ready at all. I mean, honestly, that was a struggle I had to start off going into because I was used to just doing things as I pleased. And now when you start,
I'm just kidding.
Nah, you good. I just had to, those sacrifices that you had to make as a parent, I wasn't used to, and that took a while. But it makes you a better person because there's other things that are more important than just yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was something I had to learn on my own. And I learned myself through my daughter, if that makes sense. I became a better man because of her. So
that is dope.
yeah, so that's. You know.
So what did you learn about yourself?
I mean, I learned how to be, because at the end of the day, when you take time to change yourself, then you can change the women that you attract, that you want in your life, and you don't even know it. It's just like you're looking for something different. By, you know, your daughter's love, like the love I have for my daughter, and just like her, like I think like 2 days ago I posted a text that she hit me up because she had made varsity in track, and then like just not too long ago she had passed her test and she was studying, and she ain't even out of school yet. She hit me up, Dad, I passed with 83. But the fact that she wants to make me proud is like, that right there would change any man. You know what I'm saying? Just to hear that this little girl loves you more than the world. She may not express it because, you know, little girls at that age are very egotistical. It's just me and her. So it's a different type of relationship. It's a very unique. It's like, I mean, she's 14. I'm 37. You know, you can say we're like roommates. She's over here. I'm over here. And we just kind of like, you know, she has a phone. She does her thing. I do my thing. But, you know, when it comes down to, all right, we go to church together every Sunday. You know, we do things. I have to make sure that I do something with her at least one time on the weekend, whether we go to the movies, dinner, or something, just so that we get our relationship. Because when she makes it to the Olympics, not playing.
Speaking to existence.
Yeah, exactly.
Does she cook?
She does. She cooked chili.
Does she help you wash your
She does all
clothes
of that. I
and
don't do none of that. I made sure that that's a choice. I pay the bills.
Yeah.
The least you can do is do your chores. Make sure that this is done. Your bedtime's at 9:30. You don't have your phone with you in the bed. You know, I have it outside.
My God, I love that. God damn. Y'all hear that? She is 14. She goes to bed and gets her phone taken.
So check this out. You know how they say, you know, a woman can't raise a man to be a man.
Right.
How do you combat that in your situation? A man can't raise a woman to be a woman.
Definitely don't agree with that.
You know, the first thing that comes to my mind when you said that was me going to the store, going and buying tampons. Yeah. And I'm like, and I don't know which ones to get. And she's like, Dad, like I'm out and about getting some food. Like, oh, don't forget to get tampons. And I'm going to Walgreens and I'm just like FaceTiming her. I'm like, all right, which one of these do I get? You know, and this is the experience, you know what I mean? Like to be able to, when she gets older, to think back. I remember the times when I used to go to Walgreens, but as far as her, I think the dynamic. I always say this whenever I meet a woman, and I look at this when I see my daughters. Like when I meet a woman, I can tell if that woman had a father in her life, just because of the way she acts.
So I'm guessing she started her period while she was with you.
Oh yeah.
So how did you handle that? That story right there.
Okay, like. I wasn't around. I was around, but I didn't. When she told me that my mom, and like she helps when it comes down to the, not like 20 like other things, you know. But it's mainly I'd say 98% of the time it's me. My mom comes around if I have a question. Hey, I don't understand. And then when she runs track, the track moms, they help me out. But like, hey, look, you know, like, hey, Josh, let me talk to you for a second. I'm like, what's up? And when she, you know, like kind of pull me to the side, so I'm learning a little bit, you know, things that I don't understand because, you know, I'm not a girl, so I don't, I'm trying to figure this out. And it did make me a sensitive man, like, you know, and, but it's because I'm not emotional. It's the fact that I think it takes more of a man to be emotional around women, and I wasn't really never around that. Like, I'll play some slow jams. I don't give a damn who I'm around.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that my daughter made me open up to be like, you know, like I had to be that for her. So in the thing, in reverse, it made me more attentive to women as far as their needs and, you know, stuff like that, because I know that every woman has certain things that they need to make them happy or whatever the case.
Have you seen that Kevin Hart movie with the little girl?
I need to see that. The last one I saw was
Mark Wahlberg?
No, the Venus.
Oh yeah. The
King
Venus,
Richard?
the King Richard. Yeah,
That changed my daughter's life.
You need to watch the Kevin Hart one.
The Kevin Hart one?
Yeah, you need to watch it with your daughter. It's
Okay, then.
so I cried the whole movie.
Oh really?
It's so emotional, but it's dope as fuck because what you're saying, like he had his wife, and she ended up passing away giving birth to the baby.
Right.
He was stuck with a newborn, didn't know what the hell to do with a little girl. So her mom wanted to be involved. His mom wanted to be involved to help him, but he just wanted to figure it out on his own. Like it's a dope ass movie. You gotta watch it.
I'm gonna have to check that in.
Now that we're speaking about all this, you definitely need to watch it.
I'm gonna have to figure that one. I'm gonna do that one.
Yes.
Yeah. I like doing that with my daughter.
What's some other experiences being a single father that, I mean, most men out there don't know? Like, what's some other experiences that you experienced?
Just being a single father in general, or being a single father to a little girl?
In general.
Well, yeah. In
In general, I would say, like everything that I do, I post a lot through social media just because I want to influence people to be more in your kids' lives, because if you're not, I think, you know, every kid needs their father. And the thing is, and also every kid needs their mother, you know, but whatever they have, you have to do the best you can. You know what I'm saying? And I think that what I had to do is, hey, look, these are the cards that were dealt to me. I can do one or two things. I can look at this card and be like, man, what the hell with it? And just like, you know, bullshit the whole way. Or I can try to figure this out. You know, and you know, I'm a God-fearing man. So like, you know, sometimes I get lost in my own despise and stuff like that. And sometimes I got to go. I always teach my daughter to pray before she goes to bed, because 2 prayers is better than 1. You know, I can't see her be the only one praying in the house, and then she's not even praying. So it's just like, I think you can learn a lot through yourself by being a parent. You become more mature. You become more like attentive to people and individuals in general. You don't down nobody. You don't look down on anybody. It doesn't matter how, you know, because you got a kid. You can't down your kid when they mess up, you know, so therefore you shouldn't down somebody else if they mess up. Say, hey, look, you know, it's just a failed situation. You know, hey, pick yourself up and try again. You know, it's not, if anything, I'm going to try to build you up and not break you down. So I think that's one of the things that you got to build your kid up, right?
Right.
So when they teach you how to build other individuals up, whether it be your spouse or whatever, it's a learning tool to become a better man or just a better father in general. So I just try to use that to my advantage.
Is her mom involved at all?
She's not. I mean, she's not. She lives in Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
So she's not like, you know, she tries to play a role as far as on the phone, but a phone call ain't gonna raise your kid, you know. So you know, that's another situation. But I can say I'm full time all the time.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
That's dope.
Yeah.
For sure. My mom said it's a special bond because my dad will go get pads for me, and he was not ashamed. I love him for it. Jules said you definitely learn another level of empathy with your children.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Next level too.
I
Your
need to
mom
go
said, I'm
too.
very impressed with the young man. It takes a lot to raise a child. I want to ask you this. Being that she's getting older,
Right.
what are your fears now?
My fears would be her, and I know it's gonna happen, is her heart getting broke. You know, and basically
A lot,
and
okay.
yeah, I know.
It's gonna happen a lot. Okay.
I be trying to be like, when she be on the phone with little friends, and you know, like I remember one time, this recently, she wanted to go to a football game because she's a freshman in high school, so I know how high school is, and she wanted to go to a game, and you know, and I was just like, nah, like, you know, I'm trying to use everything in my advantage, like, you know, your grades ain't up to par, you know, you didn't do the dishes yesterday, trying to find an excuse on why you can't go. Just because of the fact, and then she kind of like, they'll lie or manipulate to get to where they want. She was like, yeah, no, we're just going down the street. You can pick me up at what's that place called with the chicken tenders or the
Did she go to Jetson or something?
Nah, Reagan. She go to Reagan.
Oh,
It's like Bush's, Chicken Express, Zaxby's, Canes. There's a Canes?
Canes. Okay.
Yeah, Canes over there by Reagan. So it's like, I live in Stone Oak, so like Canes is like right there. So I was like, all right, cool. I was like, yeah, all right, that's fine. Because I'm like, I ain't sitting here be driving all the way over there and all the way over there, whatever. I mean, I've done it too many times. I had little friends in the back seat and I'm picking them up and driving. I ain't feel like doing it that day. So anyways, I had, she hits me up at like 9:30 and says, hey, Dad, about 10:30, can you pick me up at the Canes over there off the rim? I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm already chilling right now, like, and I already got my stuff, like, whatever. And this is something that we kind of like, if I discuss something with you, it's going to go that way and only that way. Mm-hmm. And if you try to maneuver around me, I feel like you're trying to take advantage of me, and that's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And then she called my mom, because I said, no, you better find a ride. And she said, she called my mom. My mom's over there calling me, hey, I'm about to go pick her up. And she like woozy, and she didn't take her pill. I was like, Mom, take your ass back home. Mm-hmm. And then that pissed me off even more because she was willing to allow my mom to go out there and drive to pick her up. And I'm like, all right, hell no. So I picked her up, got in the car. Give me your goddamn phone. Mm-hmm. And then she didn't have her phone for like, 5 days. It seems petty, but I mean, at the end of the day, if I don't do it, she won't learn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I just had to like, that type of experience is like leads into other stuff.
So, okay. So, just to say this, I'm a girl. Well, obviously I'm a woman, but,
Right.
My mom was, I didn't have my dad. My dad was in prison. So, I mean, we're very, very close, but he wasn't physically here with me. So I had my mom. My mom was very lenient, I guess I would say, open, whatever. She kind of allowed us not to do whatever, but kind of do whatever. But we had to always tell her where we were at, like who we were with, whatever. God, we had to get good grades, all that shit, how you're saying. But like we were allowed to go to parties in high school. We were allowed to, if I was drunk, my mom would rather me call her. Like shit like that, so that I didn't go do dumb shit to get in trouble. So I had a lot of friends that their parents didn't allow them. So a lot of my friends couldn't hang out with me because my mom allowed me to do shit and theirs didn't, Right. But they're the same ones that used to sneak out. They were fucking way before me. Like seriously, you guys, all my friends, even to this day, I be joking, we be laughing with their moms. I'm like, y'all thought I was a hoe and your daughter was the one, sucking and fucking teaching me how to do it after all that,
Goodness.
So all I'm saying is be hard on her. Don't be too hard. If she's going to be open with you, allow her to be open with you. Because parents that are strict, especially with little girls,
right,
they're going to be worse.
Yeah. I heard about that.
Way worse. Yeah. Because now they got to sneak instead of being able to be real. My mom and my dad always allow me to be open with them. My first time ever having sex, I told my dad before my mom. Because that's how the relationship that we had.
Was it because he wasn't able to touch you?
No, it wasn't because of that. It was just genuinely my dad made me feel more comfortable to be able to speak to him rather than my mom,
Mm-hmm. So that's the same thing that I had just talked about when it came to my them saying that you want your daughter to come to you. Like my daughter started coming to me about this little boy named, I ain't gonna say the dude's name. But I was like totally like, I didn't know she had a boyfriend until my mama told me. She ain't tell you about it. I was like, no, she ain't tell me about this. Came home, had a cup of towel with her. And it just, the thing is, the relationship part was just more like, that's petty stuff. It's like, you ain't got no car. You ain't gonna see this little boy. Like, she's in 8th grade. Like, it wasn't nothing to me at that point in time. I was like, all right, cool. That's a friendly conversation. She's still talking about this dude to this day. And he goes to a different high school or whatnot. But I think it was just more so, she was like, Dad, and I come in the door from work, and I come in the door, she's like, Dad, I have a question. And she starts talking about the boy, well, he did this. Did I do wrong? Like, the fact that she's opening up and asking me, like, well, he did this. And I'm like, well, you probably pissed him off. Like, I'm just kind of like, trying to
as a man, no,
yeah.
You tell her, yeah.
And just try to teach her, like, I'm going to tell you, know your value. That's the biggest thing I'll tell her. Every time we have a conversation, I'll say, look, a man wants a woman that a lot of other men don't have access to. I mean, that's just really what it is. That's the trophy wife. Like, that's the one that they can hold up high and know that, hey, look, nobody can have you but me. And I tell her, look, you're giving all these little boys access, whether, it's on Snap and all this other crap, but still, too many boys can talk to you. I want you to I told her, when you go to high school and you walk around, you're built like this little track girl, right? And I know how it was. But if somebody comes to you and they're trying to, holler at you, you keep walking. And if they trying to talk to you, you kind of just keep your head up, be respectful, but act like you don't want to give them the time. Because I want every boy in high school to be like, hey, look, she ain't having it.
I got to come hard for this one.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And that's how I want her reputation to stand. Because once you lose it in high school, we know how that goes. It's kind of hard to reinvent yourself. Yeah. And I don't want her to be a track star and have any type of reputation. So I'm trying to protect her.
Boys are involved now. How do you really feel about that?
I mean, honestly, I think...
Don't give us a politically correct. How do you really feel about that?
I think my daughter, me and her are so close, because it's just me and her. I think we're so close that she can act like she's that type of girl, like, you know, that gets all the attention, because, you know, they get bored crazy and they want to do this and all that. But if it really came down to it, I don't think she'll do anything. And the reason why I say it is because I'll be the first thing that pops in her head if it even goes that route. Like, you know what I'm saying? My dad would not like this. Like, you know, I know that this would really disappoint him. And that's why, just like the first steps of her sending me a text message saying that, hey, Dad, I passed it with 83. Like, she thinks about me first. So if that could continue, that means I'm doing something right. So if I could stay down that path, maybe I can keep her on that path so that way she can hold her innocence as long as she can, you know, and if she needs ever any time to, you know, body to touch, I can be there to help her out in whatever she's going through.
So how you gonna handle it? 16, she comes to you just like she came to her father. How you gonna do it? What's gonna happen?
To be honest with you, like, you know, I could sit here and give you like an answer like any other man, but I could sit and say I wouldn't know until it actually happens. Yeah, I couldn't give you an explanation. Like, I mean, of course I'm gonna love my daughter regardless. But you know, there's probably gonna be some disappointing situations that come up that I just have to be.
Show it?
No, I think those are teaching moments. So that way, if she does mess up, she doesn't do it again, and she learns from it. Because, you know, boys will be boys,
okay.
right?
You said mess up, you learns from it. Is that really a mess up? Having sex?
Like, he's like, we was fucking.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We gotta keep it real.
Well,
we was fucking. So
let's be real then. Sex happens when you're in that environment. If you're not in the environment, it don't happen, right? You got to put yourself in that situation.
I don't know.
So hey, look. If my daughter wants to go somewhere, and I kind of like, you know, I don't, you know, I kind of like know the type of friends that she's around or whatever, and I'm like, no, I'm not feeling it, because I feel like her friends will put her in a situation that she could mess up. So I think you can't completely X out that happening, but you can try to control it. Like, you know, like try to help minimize that actually happening. And I think that's like an environmental change, because you are your environment. So like if you're in that environment where there's a girl over there having sex, well, you're probably, you know, going to be in that position. You might have sex too. But if you're not in that situation, get your ass home, you know, and then, you know, keep it like that. And then she'll understand if she can walk away from that, knowing that she could have did that, then she becomes stronger not to do those things, even if she's in that situation. So, I mean, I'm just trying to like go that route.
Do you feel like your daughter's like a leader, or is she like
definitely
a
leader? Yeah. She be, that's the conversation she be having on the little group chat. She be controlling everybody. Like, and I'm just like, you know, don't talk to them like that. Don't talk to her like that. Because they be on those little phones when they have like 5 or 6 people on the phone at
on the
one time.
FaceTime, the group.
Yeah.
Probably the group.
And they just be all talking. She be leading the whole damn thing, you know.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least, you know, she ain't gonna follow if they are all fucking. Cause
Right. Yeah, that's a good thing. I mean, I hope that it stays that way, because, you know, things can change when she meets that one guy.
This is true.
That's how my baby mama was when I met her. I couldn't get rid of her.
How was you in high school?
How was I in high school? I mean, I wasn't the best. I didn't change until until Jada was born. Like,
so who were you?
I was one of those guys that.
You were a whore.
Huh?
You were a whore.
Keep it real. Come on, man. You gotta quit holding back. Let's go.
I'm not gonna say I was I think every man has that spur when they just kind of like do what they want to do and try to see how many they can do.
Yeah.
And
that's what y'all do.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
I mean, it's high school, man. We used to skip high schools to go to other high schools at lunchtime.
What the fuck?
Like leave Judson and go to Madison.
And they let y'all in the school?
We put backpacks on, act like we went to that school.
Oh my
like, hey, we did it like
I'd be
Roosevelt.
terrified.
Like, we went to every school there was because we wanted to get known everywhere. And that's how you became popular. Right. And that's just something that I thought was important. The dudes that I hung with in high school, 2 of them did. 2 of them were, you know, in prison. I don't know if y'all know Brian. Shout out to Brian Kendrick.
Yeah.
He's one of the, you know, the homies that I've known for the longest. You know, he had his situation, came out, and he's doing well for himself. Yeah. He was actually my first client that I had when I got into the business, and he invested a lot of money with me. So, but yeah, man, I was smoked weed, drank to the point sometimes that I got so drunk one time, and I'm just gonna be, you know, as transparent as I can. One time I got so drunk, and I was at my mom's house. I was like 21. I was at my mom's house, and I had a 97 Thunderbird.
Yeah, okay.
And I was so drunk, I went to go get some of these Jack in the Box. Stopped after the club, got some food, went home. and just got out the car. I woke up when I got back in the car to go to the gym. The food was still in the goddamn car. Like, how you stop to go get something and don't even eat it?
You don't even eat it.
You know, so I mean, I did dumb stuff. Sometimes, I mean, honestly, I don't think I should be here right now. If you think about the stuff that I've done, because you know, God's been protecting me. Honestly, I feel like my purpose was to be there for this little girl. Because if I wasn't, and if she stayed with her mom, you know, yeah, she wouldn't be where she's at. I know.
You think your life would be
be
different if you didn't have her?
Oh yeah. It definitely.
You'd be reckless.
I'd be reckless. I probably wouldn't be living in San Antonio for sure. The only reason why I still live in Stone Oak is so that she can stay at the school district that she stays in. Just because I know how that, I don't want her jumping from one school to another school and having to change friends and change, you know, I want coaches to know her from when she was in 7th grade all the way up. Because if I had it my way, I work off of I-10 Callahan. So I probably would have been working, I probably would living over there at the Rim or Dominion area or something like that if I could. Because I-10 is right down the street. But I'm driving from Stone Oak just so she can stay in this area. And I still get shit from her. It's like they don't understand the sacrifices that we make. You know, they'll never understand it, but
until
you know,
their parents.
Until their parents.
Because I was the same way with my mom,
Yeah.
and you probably were the exact same way with your mom.
Yeah, they do a lot for us. We just don't realize until we get older.
And we need them still.
For sure.
Okay, you be putting up on game.
As far, oh yeah, bro. Like I'm just
like,
saying,
I'm a
like,
young
I mean,
cool
even
dad.
me being single right now, like I'm very strategic. You know that she'll never know a thing. She'll never know what she looks like. She won't ever hear my conversations. I always got on the patio. I learned my lesson from my last relationship. Because that situation, when me and my ex had broken up, there was a situation where, you know, my daughter overheard and some stuff, whatever. And that's honestly one of the things that broke me and my ex up because of another ex. So, I mean, it's just basically when you have kids like that, they're very curious on things. Like, even if the door is closed, they want to be at the door. You know, they want to knock after they come in.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't know what's going on in there. And you know, it's just that curiosity I had to learn. It's like, look, straight away, like, you know, like if you got to walk away to go have a conversation, do it. Like, whatever. It's just me and her. Because if you don't, she's going to be listening one way or the other. And I don't want to hear anything that I talk about. I want her to be as pure as she can. She doesn't need to be alone with a grown man.
So she hasn't walked in on you ever.
Hold on. I'm gonna say no. Okay.
What you mean you gonna say no?
I gotta say,
Did it happen?
Look, man, stuff has happened. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, those apartment doors, man. They ain't got no damn locks on the goddamn.
That's why.
Get off my daddy.
That's why men cannot come to my house. I do not live. Men cannot come to my house, and nope.
It's a bad situation, man.
I don't bring kids. I don't bring.
Did you
kids
have to
to
explain it afterwards or no?
And I mean, I had to explain not only to her, but to my mom and her mom. Like, you know, and the thing is, when the moral of the whole story is, well, Jada, did you knock before you went in? You know, and she didn't. And at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that I'm wrong. I'm a single dad.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, I put you first, and then that's why after 9:30, daddy time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you supposed to be asleep. Daddy time. Your door closed. If I choose to have company, that's my decision.
My kids
and
come
I have
crawl in the
every
bed
right.
with me. I can't.
I mean, if you got to do that, I mean, you got to do whatever it's going to make you happy. And I feel like at the end of the day, I do it in a, I could say, I do it enough that I don't overdo it. I do it just enough because I don't need to be out there. Because once you have sex on your mind all the time, it distracts you from other things that are important in your life.
Okay.
And I that's what really kind of like made me look differently when it comes down to, because I'm trying to be driven in my career, and I know that if I have sex on my mind 24/7, it's gonna be, you know, it's not gonna be where I want it to be.
Has it ever been a time where you kind of sacrificed too much and didn't think about your happiness?
I wouldn't say, you know, because I always try to find a way. It just may be diluted, but it's not 100. But I find a way to try to just be. Sometimes I'll just go to bed early, so I ain't gotta think about it. I'll just wake up in the morning and go back to the grind. But like, I'll take my sleeping aid by like 9:30, and I'll put on my NBA 2K by 9:30 or whatever. Play online. Like that's like my getaway. You know, and I'll play one game. I might not make it to the fourth quarter, and because my sleep aid is knocking in, and I just go to sleep, man. Like, you know, I pray before I go to sleep, and wake up. I feel like, you know, you got more time. You wake up with more energy. You got more time to do things the next day.
That's dope, man. So you talked about Brian being your first customer. How did you even get in to the
this.
financial lane in
Yeah.
the first place?
Yeah, it's crazy, and this is where the story begins. So I was working at Verizon. I worked for Verizon for like 6.5 years. President's cabinet. Shoot, I was ranked like out of 4 states. That's out of 3,000 people, number 4, as far as a sales rep. So I was a grinder, whatever. And I was making over 6 figures just selling phones, and that's hardly, you'll never see or hear that. But one time, my homeboy, his name is Jeremy Benson. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the top dogs at New York Life. He pulls up in this 8 Series, and I'm like, man, I'm just like, man, what is it that you do? Like, I'm happy where I'm at. This is when I was with my ex and stuff like that. And I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, man, I do this and that and finances, whatever. And it was nothing. I just know he mentioned it to me. But then my daughter, like when me and my ex had broke up, this is when I was with for 6.5 years, we had broke up, and I was devastated to me. Then I had to be a real, actually, single parent. Because my ex, I didn't realize what type of good woman that I had, because she took care of everything. And when she left, like I walk home, there's no dinner made, the house ain't clean, and I had to go pick my daughter up on the other side of town from school. Like there was one time, I'm gonna lie, like I cried in the car, man, because it was too, like I didn't know how to be that president cabinet guy and be a full-time father at the same time. And
that's why we gotta do it every day.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I commend. That's why most of my clients are single women with kids, just because I relate with this situation. It's not something that it's not easy. It was probably my most devastating 6 months in my life, being the only guy to make sure she eats, make sure she gets here, make sure she gets there. Waking up extra early just because I can get her on the side of town and come back, get dressed for work, and be at work all damn day. But going back to the story, when I left and I came back to she got suspended from school because basically at this point I think she was like 10. I'm not sure. She was raising herself. I come home at 9 o'clock. She sleep. Ain't nothing being done. I'm not paying attention to this. I'm just tired as hell. Next thing you know, she gets suspended from the bus. Grades is going down. All of that. My mom was like, you got to do something. So I had a perfect career at Verizon. I was going to be a general manager, all that stuff. And then next thing you know, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. So I started studying. So for 6 months straight, I was basically working 7 days a week. I would study. I'd be up at 4 or 5 in the morning, and my daughter sleep, make sure she's straight, go back to work. Then after work, my days off at Verizon, I'm in training at New York Life. And I did that for months, tired as hell. But that was a sacrifice I made so that I can make my own schedule. So the only reason why I did this, I didn't know nothing about finances or none of that shit. I just knew that I could make my own schedule. I was like, if this brother can do it, I can do it. And that's just the mindset that I have. There's nothing that he can sit here and do better mentally or physically, whatever. I can figure that out. But yeah, he got me in. I worked 24 hours a day basically. And here I am. The first 6 months of my career was really hard because everybody knew me as the Verizon guy. So I had to be like, how do I get people to see me as the finance guy? Because, you're dealing with people's money now at this point. So you have to change everybody's mindset of what they think of you. But I figured it out. And first year was hard. I remember one time I had to ask my mom and dad, hey, could you help me out with the rent? Just because I was trying to get my business running off the ground. But I stayed in, and this type of business, the longer you stay in, the more successful you become. So and now that I'm more involved with my daughter, which was the whole point of why I'm doing what I'm doing. I mean, she's a star varsity track girl at Reagan. I train her. We go to the gym together, church together. I'm involved. Like, she hates seeing me all the damn time. Like, she used to not see me now. She see me 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? So, but I made that happen. No, actually, God made that happen. But
so what exactly do you do? Like, what is your business? What is...
So basically, y'all heard of New York Life, right? Okay, so it's basically a financial, they're probably known for life insurance, but it's a full financial firm. So whenever you're trying to, like, let's say retirement planning, life insurance, brokerage accounts, VAs, variable annuities, IRAs, investments, securities, mutual funds, anything like that outside of your employer just basically says, hey, look, this is our third party. Sign here if you want insurance. They're not going to give you, hey, you can do this. There's like 6 different types of life insurance, but they only say, here's the term, sign right here. And then that's it. You probably take like $15 a month on it or whatever. What they don't tell you is that whenever you leave, it don't go with you. You know, and and then at the end of the day, if you go to another job, it don't go with you. So having a financial firm outside where you can set stuff up, it follows you everywhere you go, and it builds the way you go. So, Merrill Lynch and Mass Mutual, all those other companies that you hear about, same thing. We just basically try to get people to understand things that they can be doing, because people don't know this. If you don't work in this industry, you're not gonna have no urge to go find out this stuff. It's not gonna, unless it falls right in your lap. But that's why I do majority of my stuff on social media, so that way I can reach out to people. So I'll post like finances, like type videos, and I'll reach out, like I'll do my little, okay, this is a parent, they got kids, what are they doing? Because 9 times out of 10, if you go to anybody and say, what are you doing for your kids? One or two things they're gonna do. What they're gonna say? They're gonna say, oh yeah, I got that, yeah. No, then what they do, that's a defense, because they don't want to have that conversation, because they're scared to have that conversation. They don't want to feel less of a parent, because they don't want to feel like, hey, like, you ain't doing shit for your kid, which is fine. That's the norm, right? And then the other thing is, the people will say, oh, I've been meaning to do something. So all you ever hear those two things.
So what should we be doing? What should we be?
I've been saying I'm gonna get life insurance for 2 years. I still ain't did it.
I mean, if you get in that car, you don't make it home, what happens to your kid?
Exactly.
Procrastination's a killer, man. So people procrastinate on things like that they have to have. What's a priority to you?
I feel like everybody should have life insurance.
Have to.
So what are the top things we should do for our kids then?
Life insurance,
on
like
yourself,
soon as a kid gets the Social Security, soon as they get a Social Security, you're supposed to slap a policy on them. And what happens is, because if you think about it, I'll give you a situation. I had a kid, this lady, she had 3 kids. And one of them was just diagnosed with as a diabetic, like a type 1 diabetic. And it literally happened like 4 weeks before we did the application. And he's not insurable. So he can't get life insurance.
Because it's a pre-existing condition, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So think about what you could have did if you had put that on him earlier. Now you not only protected him, but you protected his family. Because at some point, you don't want to be a parent at 40 years old and you pass away. And, like they always say, you're out there doing fundraisers on Instagram or and trying to sell plates to pay for the funeral, when you really should be leaving a legacy behind.
Okay, but when that situation, say that if that situation happens, you still have to wait a certain amount of months before you get that money anyway, correct?
No, that's not true.
So you can get that life insurance.
As soon as you get that
instantly.
death certificate, you bring it to New York Life, will cut you out a check with 3 to 5 days.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Life insurance should be your foundation to your financial home.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna talk to you. I'm being dead ass serious. I've been saying this for 2 years. I'm like, I'm gonna get life insurance.
Yeah.
Didn't do it, and then I'm like, no, I need it.
And you can get money off your life insurance too. A lot of rich people use life insurance. Yeah,
yes.
You get to live.
My cousin taught me that.
Yeah. Explain
infinite
that.
banking. So there's like so term life insurance, you'll never see a dollar of the money, right? It just goes into this policy. The death benefit stays the same. So example, let's say you do $100,000 20-year term, right? 20-year term. So 20 years, if you don't, let's say you're paying $30 a month for that. After those 20 years, if you don't die, well, then now what are you? Let's say you're 30, you'll be 50 at that time. So now that $30 then transformed into freaking for that 100,000, like $600 a month now. $30 a month to $600 a month. Is that something you would want to hear at 50 years old?
No.
So they don't tell you that, and at the same time, you don't get any of that money that you put into that policy. Strictly goes into that policy. Now, if you do a permanent life insurance policy, which is the big one, the whole life, they call it whole life. If you do that policy, let's say you're doing $100 a month. Well, what happens is that $100 a month, let's say that gives you $100,000 in your death benefit. Well, every year that death benefit goes up. It's an increasing death benefit. And then that $100 basically it goes into a cash value account that, let's say, it has to build up. It may take like a year or two to build up or whatever, but it builds up tax free. And it gives you, like, dividends can be paid into it, which a successful company can pay more income to it. And also the interest rate is higher than what a bank would give you. So it's like about between 3.5 to 4%. What a bank would give you like less than 0.5%. So it's like a lot of rich people, like corporations, banks, what they don't tell you is that they invest majority of their money in life insurance because they get to avoid the taxes, the tax laws and stuff like that.
When you say invest in life insurance, what do you mean? Like,
Investing.
I call my life insurance, say I want to invest in y'all. Like, what do you
So
mean?
investing means it's another term of just placing your money work and grow for you. That's basically what investing.
How do you do that? What is that process?
So basically, you just take, let's say it depends. People you have people who have a lump sum, which is like, let's say you have 50 grand. Hey Josh, I need you to do something with that, right? And then you got people who want to do more like the monthly approach. Hey, look, I can do $100 a month or $150 a month, and I'll basically say, okay, this is how much can you do a month, and I'll say, well, at this with your age and this stuff being in considered, you would get like a $150,000 policy that's going to increase. So by the time I'll show you a Rubik, by the time you're 30 or the time you're 50 years old, that 150,000 would be 200,000, and then your cash value would be at let's say 30,000. Okay, so let's say that is your situation at 50 years old. So what I do with my clients is every 5 years, I withdraw from their cash value and I open up like an IRA, and I put it in aggressive investment, right? And then whatever profits.
Hold on. You take out their cash value out their life insurance,
Yeah,
or
right? Because would you want to take money if the market's doing bad, right? Let's say the market's doing bad and you have an investment that's obviously losing money, right? And let's say you need income to do whatever. Would you want to pull from that account that's trying to build itself back up, or would you want to pull from a fixed account that is pretty much fixed?
Right, you want to fix it.
So most people don't have that diversity in their portfolio. So you got to add that. That's why whole life is like really, it's like really the root of all investments, because it's something you can build on.
The money that's already in there and invest in it.
You pull out, you withdraw. You like I'll say, look, you have 20. Let's say you have 25,000 in your cash value. I'll say we can take out about 15,000 of that and go open up a VA, which is a variable annuity. And what that does is that 15,000 will put it into like an 80-20 type of portfolio, which is like a lot of large cap growth, where a lot of growth can be, right? And hopefully we can make profits off of that within, like, let's say a year or two. I'll just take that money of the profits and pay back the cash value that we took away, and now you got two assets building for you.
Okay.
Off of just one.
So I tried to get some money off of my life insurance. You know what I'm saying? I hit him up and I was like, yeah, I want to, instead of pulling out a loan, I would rather just pull some money from y'all. You know what I mean? And they told me, well, no, because it's only worth this much. And I'm like, damn, I've been with y'all for 6 years and it's only worth this much?
Right.
So what was the disconnect there? Was I using the wrong words?
I mean,
you talking about 50,000 and 15,000?
What depends on what, who you with, what type of account. Obviously, it's gonna matter what type of company you're with. Who was you with? I mean, do you remember?
I'm still with them. It's gonna come to me.
Okay, let me know when it comes to you. But yeah, it could be a lot of, is it paid up additions in it, or because there's riders that you can put in that, like cash. They call it POP, which is like you can actually you have the option to put more cash into the cash value, so it can build a better cash value faster. Because sometimes it can take time, depending on, because people got to get paid in the back. But eventually the life insurance pays for itself. Like I say, would you want to put money into, where you can't, it gives you less liquidity, because too much liquidity is dangerous, because you're basically spending your life away. So why not put into something that's going to build value for not only yourself, but for your family, and then later on down the line, it's a long-term investment. People got to understand long-term investment. So what, you have to understand, like, a lot of people don't know that. People are always looking for, like, oh, next year I want this money. Yeah, and it's not really possible to do that, because if it's like that, you probably lose it just as fast as you get it.
So I got a question. Just talking with you, it's possible this could happen. And so what if, I got life insurance. What if you tell me something better? Now what happens to all that money I done put into this life insurance I done had for 6-7 years? Is it gone? Is it gone? Now I got to start over with this new life insurance people that you set me up with?
I mean, you can actually, there could be this credits that you can cash out, like surrender the policy. But I would have to look at your policy and kind of see, like, what it had and what, what's really going on with it. I'm not going to give you the, make you a bad decision or whatever. Like, if you already invested into it, like, I wouldn't want you just to pull out. I honestly, what I would do is you could lower the investment and then have diversity and do something with us or whatever. That way you have two policies.
Yeah, my cousin has two policies. We were actually talking about this like a couple months ago. She was saying that she has one for her and her husband, and then she has another one for her husband, and her 3 kids all together. Okay. So she has 2 separate ones.
That's the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what happens if that company you with, if they go out of business. You know, you lose all the money that you invested into
Is it
it.
American income? American income.
American,
life?
is it American something that we talking about?
American income? I think it's American.
So you're saying with life insurance, you can lose out on your life insurance because of the company?
Well, if a company goes bankrupt, how they gonna pay it out?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the reason why it makes me not want to get shit like that, because it's like, what am I investing in for? Like, I'm putting all this money into, it could be a Ponzi fucking scheme.
No, it's definitely not. New York Life has been around for 175 years.
I don't know shit. I'm just saying. I'm not
Right.
saying you. I'm saying
Yeah.
people in general. Like, you're telling me I invest all this money. Let's just say years, like 7 years. Let's just say he done already invested fucking 100,000, and then they go bankrupt tomorrow. Now he done lost 100,000. It's like,
Well, people before they go into something, they look at their credentials. Like people look at like the Moody. I don't know if you've heard of Moody. Like if it's a AAA rated company or something like that, they want to look at their tax, their credit scores, because companies have credit scores. Ours is the same as the U.S. government. That sounds pretty legit. If you wanted to go somewhere, it's like people are gonna look at what have you done and how long have you done it, because people want stability. You're not gonna go with like, I don't ever recommend anybody to go with a company. So if anybody would take you, as far as if you don't, like, let's say you do a what do you call it, a life insurance thing, and they, oh yeah, we'll take you over here, but everybody else denied you. Would you really want to go over there? Because how many times do you hear about people saying, oh, they didn't pay out, or they found there was a loophole and they found out a way not to pay you. These are those companies that are not really doing that well, that will take anybody. So it's like, you had cancer 3 years ago, but this company's gonna take you. Why would you go over there? Because it's $10 less. But when you die, you didn't put like all this money into it, but then they won't pay your family because you didn't go to a legitimate company to pay that extra $10. So I mean, New York Life there's a reason why we rate it so high, when it comes down to stuff like that.
So what's something that you feel that black folks need to know when it comes to this financial game?
I think the most thing people need to know is, think about your family before you think about yourself, or think about your family before you think about buying that Starbucks coffee in the morning. Like, people do that. Like, they say they ain't got money for life insurance, but they got money to buy Starbucks every morning. Mm-hmm. You do that 5 times. What is that? 20 days a month. $8. What is that? $160 a month. You can be putting towards something that can save you money as far as retirement, that can actually protect your family. People don't look at that. It's not important to them, and people don't find value until they actually, unless I put something out there that actually hits them in the spot. Otherwise they're not going to go look for it. And I use my platform to be able to reach as many people as I can. So, but I think people just need to, go, if you don't have a financial advisor, at least go and sit down and talk to one, just to kind of make sure that you have all your ducks in a row. Make sure your retirement's looking good. A lot of people forget that, when they leave one employer and they go to another one, they forget to put that other money somewhere else where it can be growing for them. Mm-hmm. They'll be like, oh yeah, I had another retirement account over there. Those 3 years have passed, and those 3 years, it could have been an open window for you to make a lot of money as far as in the market. But most people don't. Just make sure it doesn't take nothing. You got a day off, take an hour out your day and just sit down and look at your retirement. Make sure you got enough life insurance. Is it enough? If there's questions that you have, reach out to a financial advisor like myself or something like that. Set an appointment. It doesn't cost anything to come to my office and sit down and talk to me. I'll tell you, I'll put your whole life on the board, visually show you exactly where you're at and show you where you want to be. I'm gonna give you a finish line, because you're not gonna run away. If you don't know the finish line, that's what a lot of people are doing out here. They're just running, don't even know where they're going. So at least I'll give you a finish line, so that way you know exactly where you're gonna go.
So what exactly is a trust fund?
A trust fund, this is basically like a money where they utilize lawyers and stuff like that.
It's a safe blanket. That's what I call it.
Yeah. I mean, it's just basically an account where, at a certain amount of time, there's like legalities on it that can't be touched until a certain point in time. Whatever that parent, whoever the owner of that account is, they put all these rules on it to whoever they're leaving it for.
So it's just protecting money?
It is.
Protect the money with guidelines. I mean, it's just like any other type of account.
So it doesn't make money on itself in any way?
I mean,
like,
most of the trust funds,
trust
are just like, when people got money, they just don't want nothing to do with it. So they just protect it, put some rules on it, and be like, hey, this is some money stashed away for you type thing.
So my son's dad has a trust fund for his boys. But his is like his companies, like he has companies in there that if something were to happen to him, they would get, he has money in there for them. He has cars in there for them. Mm-hmm. So he did that too, also, so that nothing's in his name. Like he don't want, like everything's in his trust fund. Like you can go buy a car off the lot. It's not under his name. It's under the trust fund. Like he has 3 of them. Like he does stuff like that to basically, like, that's why I said safe blanket. Like he does it to protect himself, so people can't, like, if he wrecked, you can't go sue me.
Okay. So you
can't
talking
touch
about
this.
basically, like if they would get, those are assets. It's still an asset. It's just nobody can touch it. Like as far as if you were to get sued or anything like that, that's protected money that they can't, that can't be touched.
You can't touch because it's
You
not
know, divorces,
yours.
they can't touch that money.
Nope.
Like it's just, that's the same thing with like.
That's how white
annuities
people
and stuff.
stay rich.
True that. That's
From
real.
trust funds.
Trust funds are good. I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I don't do a lot of them. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Why?
mean, it's not.
Why?
I mean, that's not really when somebody comes in. That's not the first. Most people want to invest, and most people need life insurance. And most people.
Why don't you do it though?
Why don't I
personally?
do it? Because I got all these goddamn payments when it comes down to like the life insurance and VULs and investments that I'm doing for me and my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So if I die right now, my daughter's straight.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's more than straight. Because I believe
Why?
in.
What did you do that made her more than straight?
Because I invested a lot of money into that stuff.
Into like stocks? What are we talking about?
Stocks, VULs. VULs.
What's the VUL?
A VUL is
Yeah, I never heard of that.
A VUL is a variable universal life insurance policy. So basically, the same thing I had told y'all about the whole life thing.
Mm-hmm.
The premium is just invested into the market, so we get a higher value.
So they take that money and put it into stocks. And
Exactly.
It's kind of like a 401k maybe?
You can use that. I mean, 401k is just another type of retirement account. I mean,
Okay.
that's all they are. These are all retirement accounts. Anything tax free, sheltered, those are retirement accounts.
So can you put trust into that? Like, can you really trust that these people are going to put your money into
No.
the right market?
Well, we do the portfolio for you, so it's kind of like we'll show you.
Right.
We'll show you what your
I'm
stocks
not picking
are
the
funding.
stocks.
Well, we are.
company
Yeah,
is.
it's professionally managed money. So like we manage those portfolios that we put the money in there for you. I don't come up with the portfolios. We have asset allocators that do that. They allocate the assets.
Okay.
So they do all that for you. We go off of your questions as far as are you conservative, are you aggressive, are you moderate?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
What
But
just
we
asked
have
me,
answer.
yeah.
We ask you questions. The way you answer them is what level we put you on. As far as hey, look, some people like I don't give a damn, and I'll just answer questions for you because they want to be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
But you still got to pass suitability. They got to make sure that your money adds right. Is this person in a situation to be able to put this much money away? Do they have enough liquidity if the market doesn't do well? I mean, all those things are like, considered into the process. And not everybody, it's usually most of the time people get, they pass it, suitability. Sometimes there's questions and it could take a little bit longer, you know what I'm saying? But you got people out there trying to launder money, clean the money up through us. And, yeah.
Yeah. So what's a good amount to start with something like that?
As far as what?
What we were just talking about the
VUL?
Mm-hmm.
It just goes, I look at it like this. I always tell somebody, always put the most money you can put in that doesn't hinder you from everyday life.
Okay.
So like whatever you can put in doesn't change what you normally do. Most people just like to see their bank account look a certain way. But if that's not the case, and you just want to basically invest, I think that like I always say to people, if you're making 6 figures, and you're still living check to check.
That's a fucking problem.
Yeah, you're trying to live that lifestyle when you should be living a 70-30. So if you're making $100,000 a year,
I don't know. I'm not. I'm not the smartest person in the world. So I hear this all the time: 6 figures, 10 figures, whatever. What the? Break that down. What are figures? What is
The
it?
zeros.
zeros. So $100,000, that's 6 figures.
So that's just how many zeros you have.
A year.
Right,
Yeah.
6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures. Yeah.
So you can be a 1 figure.
Like with a 5 figure or something like that. I mean, shoot, but nah, man, like you gotta apply yourself. It's really a financial discipline that you have to have in order to be able to do this type of stuff. And I always tell people, like, I'm not gonna sign you up unless I know that you're committed to this, because of the fact a lot of people do is they'll sign up for it, and then like 2 months later they're like, oh well, something came up. It's like, man, this isn't important to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want you to waste my time. So it, like I say and say, if something happens to you, walk out the door, what do you want to have happen to your kids? What type of lifestyle do you want? Do you want them to change schools? Do you want their clothes to change? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? What value did you leave behind for them to keep going? Are they going to remember you? Are you going to leave behind a problem? Are you going to leave behind, a good situation for them? I mean, these are things that you have to think about, because if you're going to be down up in heaven looking down, like, damn, I fucked up. And that's not a good thing, man. When you look at it, at least I can look down and be like, you know what, she has a better life than I had, because I prepared her for that, and I didn't want her to go through what I went through growing up. Not saying I had a bad childhood, my mom was watching, But it was just more like she did the best she could, you know. And I just want to make sure generational wealth is passed on, and I do it right way.
So what stocks should we be invested in right now?
I mean, right now, honestly, there isn't a specific stock that I can't, honestly, for my job, I can't really recommend any stocks on any type of line or area.
You ain't at work right now? What you talking about?
Yeah, it takes one person in this job. And but I've seen people come and go off the dumbest things, man. Because we have this thing called SMRU. Okay. Everything has to be approved, so I can never recommend any stocks. So I can tell you that.
What are you invested in right now?
Can't tell you that either because yeah, I mean at the end of the day, I mean I would love to. It's just the fact that it's a protocol, man. It's legalities involved when you're dealing with people's contracts. And,
I was about to say contracts.
I pay insurance just to be a registered financial advisor because of the fact that if I screwed up somebody, it's like $1 million for the insurance that they take out of my ledger every month just to be able to cover the cost of whoever it needs to be paid off.
That's how it is for real estate too. You have to have that. It's AMO. It's called AMO.
Exactly.
Life insurance.
Okay. How about this? How should a person research, or how does a person like?
I think investments.
Like when you're researching a stock, how do you do that? What should you look for?
Well, I can tell you like this: the internet's not going to give you the platform to actually give you accurate. People think that they can go online and they look up a company. It's not going to be the same research that an actual full financial firm company has.
Okay.
You got to
give
get what I'm
some
saying.
insight. What do y'all do?
Well, the thing is, what they do is they do research on companies over years, like 10 year.
Like they have data.
Yeah, that comes up with. They figure this would happen in the next 5 years. Projections, you know, they have those projections. You know, you have your everyday job. You're not gonna take all that time to try to like find out what projections are. I mean, unless that's your job, you know. But you know, when it comes down, that's why people need us more than we need them because of the fact that that's what we do. So why would you want to take your time away from what you currently do?
He don't want to tell us y'all because he said this is my job. I ain't gonna tell y'all.
Nah, hey,
you need me.
Yeah, I definitely can't. But I mean, I could just tell you, man. Just you know, the best thing to do that would change your life is sit down with a financial advisor because that type of environment and that type of conversation would change you when you leave because of the fact of the things that you now know you're gonna want to share to other people, and that can change their life. Because if you may not be ready financially to do what you can do with that person, but you will in the near future, but somebody that you know may be. And I think that that's something that's very powerful, especially in the black industry, as far as a lot of people, we grew up on the, you know, the Northeast side or, you know, the side where they didn't have these type of resources. So it's like, it's only right, you know, to be able to share as many, you know, things I can to minorities because they're not in that environment where they can actually
at all.
You know what I'm saying? So I just want to be able to like be that resource. I'm not saying, hey, look, you know, give me your money, let me get this paper. It's more so like, hey, let me give you this knowledge. And then you can decide what you want to do with it.
You ain't giving knowledge. We giving you the money. You got the knowledge.
Well, definitely.
Make shit happen.
He can give you the knowledge when you hire him.
Right. I mean, it's just like I said. One meeting with me would change your life.
Okay.
Put it like that.
What do you know about credit?
What I know about credit?
Like do you dabble in it, or do you actually have like a full knowledge on credit? I don't want
to
to ask you
credit is. I mean,
like I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's not part of my expertise or anything like that. But I mean, I know that having good credit is good. No,
Right.
I mean, credit allows you to be able to, you know, obviously do other things.
Freedom.
Yeah, it gives you. It is definitely gonna be. It's definitely freedom. Allows you, and honestly, it allows you to invest more liquidity because you have that credit to fall back on. You can pay that. You can utilize like a setup. You can actually come up with a plan. You know, say put this on your credit card and invest this every month and pay it back and. In 5 years or 4 years, we can do this and change. Like, there's so many things you can do. It's just like you got to commit to the plan if I come up with a plan. Because all it is just those financial planning. That's what it's called, a financial planner, financial agent, financial professional, whatever you want to call it. Everything's about preparation. And if you apply yourself to anything that you do in life, you'll succeed. But you got to visually see it and don't let nobody blow your vision.
Well, tell us a little bit about your company.
Well, New York Life is a Fortune 500. And they've been around for over 175 years.
Are they the ones that had Snoopy on they as like a logo? I guess at one point in time was it Snoopy?
I don't think so. I never heard of that one though. But I know they had in the Final Four not too long ago. They were actually like in the middle of the floor, like the emblem was. So it got a lot of exposure off of that. But I mean, it's a big time company, man. It's up there with the top companies, if not the top. You know, just read them up, look them up. I can't really tell you exactly, you know, word for word. I don't have that actual rubric or whatever, but I know that it's definitely I would never be with a company that I know that would make my job easier when I say the name and they're like, oh yeah, I know what that's it. And I'm spending more time trying to explain who the company is as opposed to telling you what I can do for you. So I just use that umbrella, you know, to make it easier for me.
What is it about this job that makes you happy?
Man, I can retire early if I wanted to, just because of the pension that they give you. Like they basically pay you to make money. If that sounds crazy, but you just have to find. I tell anybody who wants to do this business, whenever you go into a business like this, because it is 100% commission. People are scared of that.
Yeah.
Super hustlers are scared of that.
Yeah, and nobody really knows the understanding of it. Like, you know, how do you do it? How do you stay in it so long? It's just, you know your stuff. Find out what works for you. Social media is that made it easier for me. There's a lot of ways that I can be able to, that's just my platform to reach people. But, I love it. I can make my own schedule. If I wake up one day, like I basically get paid to go to the gym. I pay to go out to eat. I pay to go to church. Like, cause I'm putting my life out there so people can trust me. Because you're dealing with people's money. And I think that people, and I always use this concept, if you have 5 boxes, right, and they all got the same information in it, but one of the boxes has a ribbon on it, what are you prone to opening up first?
Ribbon.
Exactly. So I use my appearance, which as far as like I wear suits whenever I post pictures or I do videos. Your brand is everything. And I think that your brand is what gets you that conversation first.
Absolutely.
Before somebody else who didn't utilize it. And then at that point in time, people are going to utilize, is this dude who he says he is? You know what I'm saying? Is he knowledgeable? If I ask him a question, can he answer it? What is his replies? People look at your body language because your body language talks to you even if you're not saying anything. You know what I'm saying? And, I can notice that if somebody's really into like as far as what I'm saying and they understand and they're actually taking me serious, opposed to somebody else is not. So, but yeah, man, it's I love the job. I love what I do. If I knew what I knew now, I probably would have been working here when I was like 21 if I could.
Yeah.
You brought up the brand and how you are the brand and so forth. I want to ask, this is a question I posed to actually both of y'all, because I thought about this. With us being influencers and, and so forth, do you ever feel like you're a slave to how you're perceived? You know what I'm saying? In a sense, like everybody expects you to be this certain way. So do you ever feel like you're a slave to it? Like you have to be
like
this
to hold
way?
it up. Perception is reality. Like whatever platform you're utilizing. So like, I could sit here and be this guy on Facebook or Instagram, and I'm, the pictures that I take when I'm in the office, show people what I'm at. But when I get home, I got sweatpants on. Like I'm not a robot. Like I'm not afraid to post me like this to my clients who see me in a suit every day, because of the fact that I'm not, I'm genuine. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and make you think that I wear a suit when I sleep. And I think that nah, unfortunately I don't. I wouldn't be able to sleep, man. I don't really sleep. But anyway, but not
Same.
yeah. So like, but nah, man, it just makes you like, you gotta hold that perception up, and I think that if that's who you are, it won't be an issue. And I think that
it's in a sense, it's never who you are, really.
It is though.
Nah, it is.
It is because so. How he's saying he wears his suits, he's not, I don't feel, he's not playing a part. He's not playing like a part. That's just like how he's saying your brand is everything. Like if I want to be a real estate agent, imagine me walking in with some booty shorts on, a fucking crop top, my hair looking a mess.
But what if that's how you want to? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. What if that's how you really want to be?
I would never
on your own time. You know what I mean?
On my own time.
Right.
Oh yeah, your own time. Yes, but not as a business.
But on your own time, that's the real you. You know what I'm saying? But like, when these cameras turn on.
So in front of my clients, like I'm still me. Like I'm gonna dress the part. I'm always gonna look good. But that's just how I am in general. Like that's just me. So, but I'm going to, if I cuss and I slip up, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I apologize. No, I said what I said. Because I want my clients to know, like how he said, being genuine, like everything about me is authentic, like I'm real. And so like I feel like when you be you, people are gonna fuck with you more. So I'm not gonna put up this fake persona for you to buy a house from me. If I can't be myself, I don't.
Okay, it's like
Just because
the
I'm
white
dressed-
voice we put on.
No,
when
I
we
do
doing
not.
an
I'm not
interview.
like that.
You know.
To her point, what we're trying to say is like in that corporate world, you have to establish a presence that you gotta be. You know, it's just being versatile. Like I'm a versatile person. I can be in a suit one day and I can be in sweatpants and some Air Forces the next. But my mental is still there. I can still hold a conversation with a man that's a millionaire just because of the fact I still have the knowledge. You know, and the thing about it is that you gotta dress to your environment. Like if I'm not gonna go to work, you know, and you know I get my haircut every Friday, you know, and I've done this for years because I take pride in my
That's what
pride in
people
my
expect
appearance.
from you.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because when
You
people
build your
want to be
brand.
proud of who their real estate agent is, they want to be proud of who their financial advisor is. They want to be like, oh yeah, Josh, I know him.
Right,
You know,
but you don't feel pressure to have to make them proud. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's who I am. I enjoy what I do. Like I enjoy putting that suit on. I wake up and you know I get out the shower and I'm putting my tie on and everything. Like you know that's a blessing, man. Like you know how many people wear a suit and tie to work. You know I look at that and be able to have all my knowledge paid for through a company that wants you to be smarter and knowledgeable. Like why would I want to go from that?
Deidre said that's also why you have to build your brand around who you really are instead of making it a character. That's absolutely true. Like you be who you are. Like some people do play parts. Some people are miserable with what they do. But like he said, he left making really good money, but now he loves what he does, like enjoys it, and he has freedom. So I feel like you have to love what you do to be able to be you. Now, some people don't enjoy what they do. So yes, they're playing a role. Like some people work at fucking McDonald's, but like, can I help you? What do you want? Like, you know what I mean?
Mad as hell. Like that
Some
ain't my
people-
problem. Like,
Right. Some people go like, oh my, how can I help you, McDonald's? And then really they fucking hate it. You drive off there like stupid
I
motherfucker.
swear to people at Chick-fil-A, I don't know, man. They are always so jolly
they're
and
chosen.
happy.
Those are chosen ones, man.
They gotta be.
Yeah,
man.
that's probably hard to get a job at that age
Because
they're looking for
I'm
somebody
like,
particular.
there's no way.
Yeah.
Guyland.
My Facebook is one of my biggest platforms. My email address, and you can email me too. It's jhumble@ft.newyorklife.com. And also, like, you know, my Facebook, like I said, Joshua Humble is my Facebook. That's really, I do all my messages through there. It's an easy way to get in contact with me. And also I have a LinkedIn too. If you have LinkedIn, definitely connect with me because it's all about building platforms and building networks. So
That's for sure, man. I got one more question for y'all before we go, man. So I seen this video, man. I thought it was pretty interesting. Pretty interesting question to ask you guys. So what's more important, the doctor, the farmer, or is it the doctor, the farmer, or the teacher? Who's more important?
The doctor, the farmer, or the
Or the teacher.
teacher?
I'm going to go with the one that you would least think. I'm going to say the farmer.
I say the farmer,
I said
too.
the farmer too. I really was gonna say the farmer.
I didn't expect us all to have the same answer.
Yeah,
I say the farmer too.
We need
Yeah.
to eat.
Right. Is that was your reasoning?
Yeah.
We
Because they
gotta
can't
eat.
think without the food, and you got the farmer's basically making the food.
I would say the farmer first, then the teacher, and then the doctor. The
doctor's
you
last?
don't need no doctor to live. Like you can. Do you think like people were giving birth themselves back in the day? People were healing themselves through natural, what they eat, natural herbs and stuff. But a teacher is gonna teach. You know, you gotta learn from that. But I definitely think a farmer is very
Most
important.
Okay. We all think the same thing. 'Cause I sure it was like when I thought about it, I'm like, the farmer, of course. Like
Yeah.
we need to eat. Like without the farmers, I think the whole world just shut down. Like what
You
we
need the
gonna do?
teachers too, man, to be able to teach the
Absolutely.
doctors. So
Hmm.
that goes in that order. But yeah,
Okay. So then the teachers come second.
I said that.
I say yeah.
Definitely the teacher. Star said farmer, but if you eat right, you won't need the doctor. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds
That's
about right.
crazy, man. Straight up. Yo, man, we appreciate y'all tuning in with us today. Yo, if y'all have any questions, reach out to them. Give us your social medias again.
Yeah, man. You can reach me out on platform Facebook. It's Joshua Humble. You can reach me out on LinkedIn. Same thing, Joshua Humble. And also my email address is jhumble at ft.newyorklife.com.
Man, straight up, yo. Keisha, you want to get out your y'all see it here up on the thing. You want to get out your Instagram?
Well, Keisha Bernice is my Instagram, and Facebook is Markeisha Matthews. You know what's crazy? So when I had posted I needed like a financial person, so many people had tagged him in it. Like a lot of it was him and one other person that they tagged me in.
That's actually a good sign, man. You are on your stuff, man.
Yeah, a lot of people hit me up. A lot of people were DMing me too, like sending me your thing. I'm like, okay, let me reach out. But yes, thank you for coming and
I appreciate it.
teaching us these things.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back and rewatch. And I was sitting here kind of writing some stuff down. Like, I gotta call my life insurance tomorrow. Like, make sure I got the right stuff.
Right,
I'm definitely
right.
gonna have to get up with you as
Nah,
well,
yeah,
man.
analyze it, man.
Same.
Always have somebody look at it, man. You never know what you could be. You know, I'm not trying to
exactly.
replace. I'm just trying to add value.
That's what
Love
I'm
it.
talking about. Yeah, I love having somebody that add value to your life.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Okay, man. Look, it's Ace Boogie Radioactive.
And Keisha Bernice, y'all.
Peace.